What's going on? It's Runic, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a quick mock draft 2.0 since we know the top 14 picks now after the draft lottery. So now that we know what picks, who picks where, it's all set in stone. Let's just get right into it. With the first pick of the draft, the Pistons are going to select Cade Cunningham, and this really doesn't come to much of a surprise to anybody because it's pretty much the consensus number one overall pick by now. 6'8" point guard, defends well, shoots really well, really solid playmaking abilities. There's really nothing wrong with his game, in my opinion. He's really keen on what his weaknesses are, and he's going to work on fixing them so he can be the best NBA player he can be. Basically, he's a no-brainer. Next question. The Houston Rockets ended up getting the second pick of the draft, and with that pick, they're probably going to take Evan Mobley. You could argue for Suggs or Green, but with KPJ there, I think they're fine at the guard spot. You could argue Christian Wood for Evan Mobley, but he's just too solid of a prospect to pass up. He's, in my opinion, the clear second best player in this draft class, and there really isn't anything wrong with him. He has so much upside with his frame and his potential as a jump shooter. His defensive game is clearly the best part of it, and he really just is a great center all around. He'll be a great player in this league. On to the next pick. The Cleveland Cavaliers ended up moving up in the draft, and with this pick, they'll select Jalen Green. You could argue the questionable fit between the fact that they have Colin Sexton and Darius Garland in that crowded backcourt, but the Cavaliers really don't have the luxury of drafting for fit right now. They really just have to go for best player available with the most potential, and that, in my opinion, is Jalen Green. The Toronto Raptors were one of the biggest winners of the NBA draft lottery this year. They moved up 3 spots from pick 7 to pick 4, and with this pick, they've been blessed with the opportunity to pick Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs could be a great complement to Fred VanVleet in that backcourt, as Toronto already has a few more frontcourt pieces than they do backcourt pieces. They did draft Malachi Flynn last year, but he can come off the bench. And after what seems like a possible Kyle Lowry departure this offseason, Jalen Suggs will fit in really well with the Toronto Raptors organization. At pick 5, the Magic are in a really easy spot, in my opinion. They really just could pick the best player available with the most potential, and in my opinion, that player is Jonathan Kaminga. Jonathan Kaminga is one of the more raw players in the draft, but his raw talent is so blatantly out in front of you that he's so hard to pass up at pick 5. And what jumps out the most is how inconsistent of a jump shooter he is, but that's all right. He can really work on that in Orlando as they're rebuilding, and he's going to have all the time in the world to work on his jump shot in Orlando. The Thunder also moved back a pick from 5 to 6, but with this pick, they're also going to be settling for Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is a tremendous defensive player, if not one of the better defensive players in the entire draft class. There's a lot of things for him to praise about when it comes to his playmaking and his finishing. However, his inability to create his own shot and his just lack of a consistent jumper are really the main questions about his game, but honestly, if you look at it, he's just going to be another great young piece for this up-and-coming OKC team. With the Timberwolves pick falling to the Warriors at number 7, the Warriors are going to be able to select Moses Moody. Moses Moody is one of the premier 3-and-D prospects in the draft class. His elite shooting and his elite defensive abilities, also his own ability to create his own shot as a potential bench scorer, really just are scary to think about for the Warriors' title hopes in the next upcoming years, and for years to come as well. Moses Moody is just a great pick for the Warriors here at 7. With the 8th pick of the draft, the Magic can start to have a little bit of fun. Josh Giddy is one of the most intriguing players in this draft class, being a 6'8 guard, much like Cade Cunningham, who is just a tremendous playmaker. And as one of the better playmakers in the draft class, in my opinion, he's also a triple-double machine over in the NBL. He's just a great overall prospect, but his main concern about his game really is his jump shooting and his defensive ability. But in Orlando, he's just going to be a really fun piece for them to have in that new up-and-coming team. It's going to be really fun to watch over there. With the 9th pick, the Kings are going to select Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner really doesn't have the most upside in the draft class. In fact, I barely even think he has all-star potential. However, there's just so many holes and problems that need to be fixed in Sacramento. I just really think that Franz Wagner fits so well into that organization and so well into that lineup. He can help patch a lot of those holes in their offensive and defensive schemes and just really be a great player for this team in the future. New Orleans is really a team, in my opinion, that should not have to be picking at number 10, but their struggles last season, they ended up here. And with pick 10, you're going to select Tory Kissberg. He's one of the most NBA-ready players with the most NBA-ready skills. And he really has just been a part of a winning culture his whole college career. So I just think with his three-point shooting and his mentality, he can really be a great player for this New Orleans team next season. After Charlotte's playoff hopes were derailed by some critical injuries, they ended up getting the 11th pick of the draft. And with this pick, they'll get one of the more fun and intriguing players, in my opinion, in the draft class with Jalen Johnson. However, with Jalen Johnson, he really doesn't come without questions. Is he a good enough shooter? Does he care about the game? And many others. However, I just think his combination of skills when it comes to playmaking, athletic finishing, and athleticism in general is just too intriguing to pair with a team like the Charlotte Hornets, and it's a really fun combination. He could really make for a really interesting piece in the Charlotte Hornets frontcourt in the coming future. With the 12th pick of the draft, the Spurs are going to have one of the biggest head scratchers, in my opinion, of this draft. They're going to select Zire Williams. Zire Williams is a very interesting prospect, and he really reminds me of a 6'8" Kevin Durant. He's a great playmaker and also a great defender. And in high school, he was a really great jump shooter as well. However, in college at Stanford, his percentages were at an all-time low for him. However, in one of the best basketball organizations in the world, I think he can refine his game to the level it was at in high school, and he can really become potentially one of the best players in this draft class and a great player for the San Antonio Spurs in the future. With the 13th pick of the draft, the Indiana Pacers are going to select Keon Johnson. With the scenario different fits, allowed Keon Johnson to fall right into the Pacers' laps at 13, similar to how Tyrese Halliburton fell to the Kings last year. Keon Johnson is clearly the best prospect available in my opinion right now, and the Pacers are going to select him. He also fits in really well with their team, as they do need some help in the backcourt. And his defense is going to be great for the NBA, and he has potential to be one of the best two-way stars in the entire class. I really like his fit for the team, and he's just a great prospect overall. With the last pick of the lottery, the Golden State Warriors are going to select Davian Mitchell out of Baylor. Davian Mitchell is a dog and a winner. He's a perfect fit for a championship team like the Golden State Warriors, and he's also a great shooter and defender. The only question that really comes with his game is the fact that is he going to be able to translate what he did in college with a 6'2" frame going to the NBA? And really, in my opinion, what I say of that is heart over height. He's just going to be a dog on the court, and he's going to be a great player to have on a team that's looking to win a championship in the next coming years. With the mock lottery out of the way, I just want to say thanks for watching real quick. I appreciate you for sticking to the end if you are here, and if you do have something to say about my picks, you can rant in the comments, or you can leave a dislike on the video if you don't like them. That's all I gotta say. It's been fun. I'm out. Peace.